I think there is something that we can all agree on, whether you have a short-term or a long-term perspective. That is that at some point, the crypto market is going to take some pretty significant steps forward, whether that is, government embrace just triggering adoption once again, whether that is institutional money just continuing to accumulate and grabbing all this available supply in the market, or if that's retail that's even currently sitting in the market on the sidelines, deciding to finally get off the couch again, get out of stables, and starting to actually participate and move the market to the upside. That at some point we are going to see. But what I will say is we don't always need to agree on the timeline for this to take place. Some people think it's going to be later this year. Me personally, I think it's going to be a lot sooner than people realize. And frankly, it may take just 1 or 2 days before the market decides to get ripping again. And I do want to talk about a few things in this video with you guys that are showing that ADA is actually at a very strong point right now. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So what I have to say here, some people may not agree with. ADA price performance as of late, actually quite good compared to the overall crypto market. And some people might just look at this and say, oh my gosh, this is terrible. It's bad, blah, 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 right? And we look at the context of the entire crypto market, the totality of the market, ADA has actually been quite strong. In fact, one thing I've shown time and time again that I want to go back to once again here is when we look at ADA, since all the way back here, even in 2023, we've reached a pretty significant point of dominance in the crypto market. All right. And even as we've gone through some of this chop as of late and this retracement in the charts here over the last several months, what you can see from ADA dominance is actually it's setting a very strong floor. Yes, we obviously had a dip all the way back in the early part of February. I'm going to zoom in here for just a moment. But you guys can see really a very strong floor being set at around 0.8% dominance in the overall crypto market. When we were at this point last market cycle, what we were doing was we were actually bleeding a little bit. We were seeing lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. We're not seeing that right now. So understand that whether you hate ADA or whether you love ADA, you can't argue with the numbers. And the numbers are showing that ADA is actually remaining resilient, which is a very good sign because ADA, something that is historically a retail driven asset that is based on sentiment, usually tends to do bad when the sentiment is trash. Okay. And sentiment up until late has been trash. It's still not great. We're still in this place of neutrality, right? We're still sitting at a 49 right now. But yet, despite that, ADA tends to perform well against the crypto market. So that's a positive sign. It's shown many signs here of wanting to decorrelate and make some more significant moves. And although the market hasn't really allowed that to take place quite yet, it is a positive sign nonetheless. Now, what I want to really go back to here in terms of ADA is I want everybody to just study this chart and look at where we're at right now. We're in textbook Wyckoff accumulation model. I know I brought this up a bunch of times, and I really want to highlight the fact that we're just chopping around in this LPS phase. This isn't new stuff. You can look this up on yourself and put this over your own chart and just watch this take place. There will be chop. There will be ups and downs. And right now, this could take a couple more days. This could take a couple more weeks, a couple more months. You could be stuck in this phase for a while, right? That's the reality of where we're at right now. And what we're waiting for, again, is just that little bit of positive shift. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, whether it's institutional money, whether it's governments, whether it's retail just deciding to participate, there will be something that causes the market to just start running. And it's going to happen, frankly, I think when people least expect it. Some people have been calling for, oh, we need to wait for, and this is where some of the disagreements arise. Some people say, oh, we need quantitative easing to begin. We need a major shift in terms of monetary policy, stuff like that. And what I will say is that right now, when we've been watching USDT dominance, there is enough capital in the crypto market to move us close to $5 trillion in terms of the total global market cap of crypto. Okay. We don't actually need new capital to enter the market currently for us to set new all-time highs. All right. And I think that there's this big misconception, and people forget that adoption takes place when the market is already running. When we do start to see some of those new insane highs, those parabolic runs, right? That run for ADA that we're waiting for, up into that $7 to $15 range, that requires adoption. But that comes when you start making moves towards some of these prior all-time highs. And like we were talking about yesterday, that could happen still this month. And I'm not trying to get anybody's hopes up or pump hopium into you, right? But we have seen this many times before. We've been at basically the bottom of the bottom in terms of sentiment, and a switch flips and we take off and we run. And you have to ask yourself, are things really that bad that we should be down in these insane low prices? And the answer is no. And maybe some people disagree with me, right? But I keep going back to just a few things. I keep going back to stochastic RSI. I keep going back to these Wyckoff accumulation models. I keep going back to all these different signs that are pointing towards the market being the market wants to run. Okay. And right now there's a lot of things that people are ignoring that are pretty glaring signs, pretty obvious signs. For example, crypto market has seen nearly 19 billion in capital inflows over the last 30 days. And what have we done in the last 30 days in terms of price? Not a whole lot. One, a lot of it's flowing to stables, like we've talked about. Two, a lot of it's flowing to BTC. All right. That's why BTC dominance has in fact been on the rise, but there comes a point where BTC dominance is going to stop, because I would say that, and maybe you disagree with me on this too, but I would say that retail has more interest in altcoins because there's more significant gains to be made. But again, that all takes place during, this significant alt season when adoption is happening, right? So in the grand scheme of things, understand that the market is not going to move on your timeline. It's going to move when it needs to move. And right now, even though some people may disagree, ADA's at a very strong point in this market cycle. I would say it's at probably the strongest it's been in this cycle alone. Not the highest price, but at the strongest point. And the numbers and the fundamentals and all these different things are showing exactly this. But understand this, the price is always the lagging metric. It's always the last thing to reflect all this stuff that's taking place in the market. Because while people are bickering and complaining and whining about prices, you have large entities just sucking assets out of the market. They're buying at insane rates. They're prepping themselves for when this next big break does take place. And the question is again, have you done enough to prepare yourself for when that time does come? So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below. When do you think we are finally going to break out of these crap prices and start making some more of these significant moves? But have a great day. Show your love. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.